What's up YouTube, this is Coding for Noobs and welcome to our 8th Java tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be remaking this program using a for loop. So right away, we're just going to get rid of int count and our while loop and its block of code, because we're going to redo this using the for loop. So if you recall, in our last tutorial, we used the while loop just to loop from 0 to whatever number the user specified. And you can specify any number greater than 0. And alright, so to get started, we're going to have to create that for loop structure again. So if you guys remember from our previous tutorial, it was for, and then we declare a variable, so we're going to call it int I equals 0. When you're declaring variables, you can actually name them anything. I'm just setting mine to I because I is an integer, so I equals 0. And then we do while I is less than or equal to n. Sorry, I, not 0. I is less than or equal to n, I plus plus. So, if you guys remember what this means is int I is a new variable, set it equal to 0, and then we do loop this block of code while I is less than or equal to n, and is equal to the user's input. And then lastly, we do at the end of the block of code increase our variable I by 1. So we have our variable declaration, our condition, and then at the end of our code block, we're just going to increase I by 1. And then, as we did before, we do system.out.println I. So we're just going to print out the, actually no, I'm going to do loop, I'm going to type in the same thing as before, loop plus I plus has passed. So basically what we're saying is, while I is less than or equal to the user's input, we're going to increase I by 1. And each time we go through the block of code, we're just going to output that loop, and then the current loop that we're on has passed. So when we run this real quick, we're just going to have, please indicate how many times you wish to loop. And we're going to say, I don't know, let's say 9 this time. And as you can see, we have 0 to 9. And basically, let's just recap what happened one last time, just so you guys completely understand, hopefully. We've declared our scanner object, which we later use to read from the console window. We've declared our end variable. We've set it to equal to 0 by default, but later this will be set by the user's input. After declaring our variables, we prompt the user for their input to see how far they wish to loop. And we set their input equal, or we set end equal to their input, sorry. So n will change from 0 to whatever they enter. In the case that we ran the program just now, we set end is equal to 9. Next, we process the information that the user has entered. In this case, we've created a new variable called integer I, and we set it equal to 0. And then we've looped through our block of code here while I was less than or equal to the user's input, in our case 9. So while our integer I, which is equal to 0, was less than 9, we ran this block of code here. And at the end of each block, so when we get here, we've set I is equal to I plus 1. And basically it just loops again and again and again until we get to 9. And then afterwards, we have a nice little end of program message saying thank you for using our program. And this is just a good programming habit to let our user know that it's okay to close the program now, and we can continue on doing other stuff like closing the application and reopening it, or whatever they need to do. Now, if you guys would like actually, I have some time left for this video, so I'm just going to show you something real quick. Now, I think you remember me saying before when I said the while, or an infinite while loop is sometimes bad but sometimes useful. If we want our program to repeat, we can actually slap the whole program in a big while loop like this. And I'm just going to do this real quick. I'm going to do source I think it is. Maybe not. Project, generate, Android, run. For some reason my source window is not open, but there's normally a fixed indentation button. Toggle block, white space. Anyways, so basically what we're going to say is when we get to here, end of while loop, restart the program. So basically the way we're doing it now is our program is actually going to keep running over and over and over again until the user actually closes the program itself by hitting the stop button. So when we run it this time, run driver, we're going to see how many times do you wish to loop? 3. So we ran it 3 times, and then it restarts the program again. How many times do you wish to loop? 6. We ran it 6 times, and we run it again. 1, 2, 3. And it'll basically keep looping over and over and over again until the user hits stop, or in a typical application, they would close the window. So I just thought it would be cool to show you guys how a infinite while loop could actually be used in like a real world application, and how you can use it to repetitively go through a program if it's required. After our next tutorial, the if statement, you'll actually see how we use this to do something like a basic calculator using Java. Anyways, thanks for watching. Sorry, I'm opening code blocks. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to post on the video. Or if you have any problems with your code, feel free to drop your code into Pastebin and just send me the link on YouTube, and I'll be sure to help you as soon as I can. Thanks guys for watching. Again, if you have any suggestions or anything, just let me know in the comments. Yeah, have a nice night.